Hi, hello, and welcome. I'm definitely not Vlad, and you're watching me pug my way to 3k rating on a Blood DK in Dragonflight Season 4. Since the last episode, I've gotten a bit of gear upgrades. I got a few gear upgrades, so we're now at, I believe, 519 item level, which is quite nice. I've been farming some worm crests on stream, and as well as just on the side, because nobody really cares about +5 keys anymore now that I'm doing 10s consistently. So in this episode, we're going to run these, or spin the Wheel of Names, or as Danny has taken to calling it, the Wheel of Pain, and we'll see what we run. I'm going to again do the thing where I don't add the 4 dungeons that I've done in the last 4 videos, so that way we can always have a new dungeon to do every 4 videos, or every video I should say. So here's the wheel. We have Algathar Academy, we have Halls of Infusion, Azure Vault, and Brackenhide Hollow. I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of hoping for a Brackenhide Hollow. I'm having a rough mental health day, and I could really use like a easy peasy run like Brackenhide. It's looking like a Halls of Infusion run though. That's not too horrible because it's tyrannical. The only boss that I'm really worried about is, other than the first one, the last one. The first one is iffy depending on whether the healer can keep us up through the second phase, but the last one I'm worried about because I can get my face smushed. So let's see how it goes. And here we go with a Halls of Infusion +10. I did try to get into a +5 group, but I was unable to do so. Nobody wanted to. Well, nobody was hosting one, so I couldn't. I tried to death grip that mob back there, but I wasn't unable to. Having a bit of trouble holding aggro here, which is surprising to me. Oh, I'm looking at the Paladin's damage, and I think I see why I'm having trouble holding it. I forgot it was Sanguine, so let's just start slowly kiting these mobs backwards as they keep dying. We're going to grip this just so it doesn't have to travel through Sanguine. There we go. That takes care of that. It takes just like one day of not doing Sanguine and you completely forget that it even exists. So yeah, that's super fun. We're going to drag these mobs into the next group. Hopefully people don't hit them too hard. See, like that person just did. We managed to get the kick on that. Somebody else was doing it. Now we're going to use grippy hands here. Now I need to start moving when I see that the HPs are getting a little bit low. Good fear by the priest. I didn't have to use my AoE CC. I did try to, but my global prevented me from doing it, which was fortunate because somebody did CC it. Now again, we're looking at the HP bars. They're slowly starting to diminish, so we're going to start moving so we prevent mobs standing in Sanguine. This is really all it takes. It's very annoying for anyone who wants to make sure that the mobs are standing still so that they can do DPS, but we don't seem to really have anything like that. That was the sound of a can falling over on the side of the room that I'm in. So I don't know if the microphone picked that up, but yeah, sorry if it did. Anyway, back to kiting and Sanguine. Again, looking for the HP bars, making sure that I move as soon as something is low. We're going to have another expulse cast here. We're going to look for a kick on it. I'm trusting the group to interrupt this expulse cast. If they don't, I'll just grip it. There we go. Ready to pull the next group. I don't want to overpull here. Mobs are dying extremely quickly. I have no reason to really risk it. Our priest went down to the Goomba Stomp. He was unfortunate that way. Should have really looked for the, what's it called? The interrupt on the defender's shout thing that reduces your damage done. That was my bad. I'm also kind of letting myself drop in HP because I'm not using my dancing rune weapon. That was a complete mistake on my part. Making sure I don't stand in Sanguine. Well, that's kind of what happened there. We're going to grip this because it's casting far enough away from us to keep standing in Sanguine. Well, that's not how far away it was. It was, yeah. Anyway, I don't even know what I was trying to say there, to be honest with you. Looking for a kick on that. We're going to have to grip it, and now the blood boils come in so that I can retain aggro. Need to use... Damn. What got us so low? Was it an expulse that went through? I'm a little confused. I looked at my group's health bars, and I was a little bit confused as to how they got so low. Something's about to die. It's the apparatus. I'm going to start moving slowly. I keep dropping quite like a brick in my health department, but I don't think it's a huge deal. Also, if I'm seeming a little distracted in the commentary, that's because I am. I don't know why. Today's just been like a weird day for me. Just feeling a little off. So if the commentary's off, that's kind of why. Alrighty, here. We're going to use Dancing Rune Weapon for this. I don't think I should use Grippy... I guess I can use Grippy Hands. I should have it back up by the time we fight the ads. And if I don't, it's not a big deal. We're going to AoE CC here because I saw a few cast bars going through, none of which I liked. Demoralizing shout, somebody took care of it. Apparatus is getting low on the HP, so we're going to start kiting these guys away. There's a spear flurry, somebody interrupted it somehow, or I was out of range, so it decided that it didn't want to cast it. I've seen that happen before, where the mobs just don't want to cast the spear flurry if you're far enough away from them. Either that or some other reason. I'm not sure what it is, but... Oh, we're missing a verse buff, or this person... Oh, no, the priest is missing it because they got murdered, so... Anyway, we're going to stand far away from the center, because that way, while the boss is traveling back to the center to do the intermission cast, we can continue to DPS the boss. I'm going to use Dancing Rune Weapon, because I don't really mind having it on cooldown for the intermission, although I think I might be able to get it back for intermission. The boss is quite beefy. Although the DPS is also very impressive, so I don't know. We're going to probably lust... Oh, okay. I'm assuming the Evoker wants to lust during the intermission or in P2. I'm okay with that because P2 is the actual dangerous part of this fight. Because the boss gets the buff. However many stacks of the buff he gets, he does do more damage regardless. Because he's roughly going to get to 10 stacks no matter what. That's just how long it takes for the mobs to group up and explode and all that. And I'm expecting the actual percentage that we reach to be quite a bit higher than 10, obviously. At the least, I expect this to get away with 16. At most, well, obviously 20, because that's as much as it can get to. Not much to really do here as a tank other than point him away from people and don't get hit by the Titanic Fist. It used to be a little bit more annoying because there was no telegraph for the Titanic Fist. He's casting the barrier, so now we can drop him maybe even 2 whole percent, almost 2 whole percent. We're going to taunt this, grip this. We have grippy hands available. We'll grip this as well. Dropping my D&D, dropping this, tombstone as well. We want to burst these as quickly as possible. It's a low enough key level when we have high enough DPS to destroy all of these devices before he reaches too many stacks. We got the 16, which is roughly what I expected us to get to. Now we have no more reason to move the boss away from the center too much because there's really... Oof, that poor guy. Did you see the dragon fly in and just get bonked in the head? That was so funny. Alright, well, for the next static charge or whatever it is, I want to go ahead and use my anti-magic zone on multiple people. I'm going to turn on friendly health bars. With Quasi's Plater, what you get is these bigger names, so you can more easily track where they are without having to see the player health bars, as it were. I need to move the boss a little bit so that our melee DPS can still get behind the boss. We're going to drop this here for people to stand in if they choose so. There we go. Only one person isn't standing in it. It's the, whatchamacallit, the Boomkin. He's standing over by the side. That's perfectly fine. That's completely their own prerogative. I feel like we got some good value out of that because a lot of people moved in for the anti-magic zone. We do still have some space behind the boss after these big circles went out, so I don't have to move the boss. I have to move right now, though, because I am... Okay, 2 people went down for that one, but the boss is dead, so I'm not going to spend any CRs here. It would just make no sense. The boss was at 0% HP. We're going to wait for the, whatchamacallit, the res to come in, because there's 2 people to res, and then we're going to go ahead and use Path of Frost and move on to the next area. I'm not in a rush because I need to kind of stay in range of people as they get close to this part where they have to run on water. That way they get it if they stay close to me. We got a life grip on the Evoker. A little surprised that the Evoker didn't choose to rescue someone over to the other side. You can do that now. We're going to drop a D&D here because we need to reveal one of the mobs. Make sure we interrupt that. We're going to grip the other one, and then I'll focus on getting my health back up with the Death Strikes. The reason you want to make sure you interrupt the Shock Troopers is because they will do an AoE... basically, if they get the cast off, their auto attacks turn into chain lightnings. And I already forgot about Sanguine. This is an issue I have with Sanguine is especially on Tyrannical, is I'll start fighting the mobs, forgetting after a boss fight. I'll start fighting the mobs after, and I'll forget that it's Sanguine because I've been fighting a boss where there's no Sanguine to deal with. I'm going to go ahead and hit those guys over there. Grip this again. Make sure we interrupt that. The other bugs are casting Dazzle, but they're really far away, so I don't have to worry about it too much. Okay. I want to move them into this. There's a Zealot back there that I don't have aggro on because I've been focusing on hitting the bugs. This is a very awkward pull, and I kind of never really make it work. I need to figure out a better way of doing this pull, because the mobs are so sparse and spread out that it's really painful to get them all grouped together. So maybe in the future for tyrannical runs, what I might do is just drag them all the way to the next like big group. Now here I have 2 charges of D&D, so I'm going to use one to try and hopefully find these guys. Now I have to use Blood Boil to try and find them. I still haven't found them. They've stunned me, so I'm going to go ahead and just use my Icebound Fortitude here. I don't really need it for a little while here, so I'm okay with that. I'll use Grippy Hands here because I don't really need the damage from Grippy Hands for the next group. And I'd like to make sure that these Swoglets don't bother anyone too much. Also, the damage does come in handy for killing the Swoglets a little bit quicker. The next group is a bigger pull, and kind of it would have been better. Oh shit, I forgot my Sanguine again. It would have been better if I had Grappy Hands for that, but I do not because I used it for the Frogos. Here again, we want to make sure that we interrupt everything. Okay, we have a stun for that. Zealot's still smacking somebody else. We can interrupt this. I think they're all now interrupted, and I don't have to worry about it too much anymore. Okay, I was just focusing on making sure I interrupt the shock troopers. There are alternatives you can do to just interrupting them. If they manage to get a cast through, what you can do is you can just kite them. You can also forget and stand in Sanguine and let them cast again, so you can try and interrupt them again. And this is a joke, by the way. I'm just stupid, and I keep forgetting about Sanguine because I'm focusing on the commentary more than I'm focusing on actually killing the mobs and doing the dungeon properly. So my apologies to the group here. I'm going to use anti-magic shell here to prevent the dot reapplication. This Paladin is bursting like crazy. It's kind of hard to actually keep aggro. Just Paladin things, I guess. I'm going to hold my interrupt here, make sure that I have an interrupt available for the heal, which is coming up in a little bit. The Castor tends to heal at about 50% HP. There we go, we got the kick. The Evoker was also looking for it, so it's not a big deal. Could have let the Evoker take care of that kick, but I tend to not trust all that much. Better safe than sorry, because I'm able to survive the Prophetic Burst damage, so it's not a big deal. There we go, another interrupt on the heal by yours truly. We're just about ready to start fighting the last boss. Or the last boss? I wish. The next boss is what I wanted to say. For the frog boss, there is a bit of a tactic that you can do to trivialize the froglets. Gotta make sure I grab this aggro. Jeez. What you do is you just move away from the boss. Unless it's the first cast of the overpowering croak. Then you just kind of stand there because he immediately gulps afterwards. So let me show you what I mean by that. Healer is basically at full mana, so we're just going to drop everything and start smacking the boss. So, the first thing he casts is Overpowering Croak, and then immediately casts Gulp afterwards. This is only the case for the first Overpowering Gulp. Later, after that... Oh, what the heck? Okay, the priest got taken out. After the first Gulp, he no longer does that. He does something different. He casts Overpowering Croak, and then he casts... Belly Slam. No, he casts Soxix of Effluvia, and then he casts Gulp, as you can see here in this little tracker of the abilities. What that means is after he drops all of these swirlies, there's Belly Slam, then he does Overpowering Croak with the swirlies. We're going to drop this over here so people can stand in it for Overpowering Croak. Overpowering Croak, by the way, is where you want to use your defensive abilities. Now, after the Overpowering Croak, we move across the room as quickly as we can. I unfortunately did it a little bit late and a little bit slow, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Why do we do this? Because this way, people don't have to worry too much about kiting these mobs. Unfortunately, because of my mistake, we ran into the issue of the mobs being too close to us and reaching us before the Gulp went through. So I kind of cost my group a bit of DPS because I didn't get the Swoglets into the goal. There's the overpowering Croak. All three of them are down. We're moving. Everyone should stack on the boss so that we kite these guys into it. This would be a lot nicer if I had, whatchamacallit, the slow from, what's it called? Grip of the Dead on D&D. Unfortunately, I do not, because I decided to take Anti-Magic Zone instead of that. Reason being, I don't want my D&D to slow enemies in the Sanguine. So far, so good. It looks like we'll have Bloodlust just in time for, whatchamacallit, the third boss. There we go. There's the Toxic Effluvia. I'm not going to use my grippy hands here because I'm worried about the frogs getting gripped straight into the people that are trying to kite them. We grip the one Swoglet because we do not want to let it reach anyone, and we also don't want to let it be outside of the gulp when it does come through. Okay. I think that magic zone will help a little bit. Boss is at 8%. I'm going to use grippy hands to help control these little guys. And just focus on the boss. If we just stay on the boss, we should be fine. I can keep gripping these guys. That worked out. I've been gulped and the boss is basically dead. So it doesn't really matter. A lot beefier than it looked right there at the end. That 8% took longer than I expected it to, so I probably should have kited. The druid says, what an awful boss. I disagree. I think it's a really fun boss, at least for me as a tank for the positioning aspect. Can I please have some aggro? Thank you. Paladin really blasting the DPS. I can appreciate that. I'm going to use anti-magic shell here so I can just stand right there in my D&D, which actually ran out, so I didn't really have much of a reason to stand in it, but no big deal. Dragon is standing in the Sanguine because I keep forgetting. Like I said, after a boss fight, I'll just straight up forget that it's Sanguine week. So my apologies here. We're going to move this guy away, partially because we want it away from the Proto-Drake, partially because he's going to... partially because we want to move away from the Proto-Drake, partially because he's going to die and leave a Sanguine pool, and we don't want that Sanguine pool to be underneath the Proto-Drake. There's the Deep Chill. I'm going to use Icebound Fortitude, that way I can stay a little bit safer. We can use our... Oh, I don't actually need to use my anti-magic shell, it kind of worked out. I don't want to pull these next guys while the Proto-Drake is still alive. I'm a little bit scared of that. There's no reason for me to pull big, because the group's got so much DPS that it doesn't even matter. We're going to AoE CC here, trying to move these guys away. Proto-Drake is going to get healed a lot because I wasn't paying attention to the Sanguine. I should have gripped the Gale Singer away from the Proto-Dragon while the Proto-Dragon was casting. That is a mistake on my end. Unfortunately, Deep Chill did go through. We have Mass Dispel, but it's not being used. Maybe it's being saved for the next encounter. The priest is being very generous in offering his Guardian Spirit, or Guardian Angel, I should say, to me, which I can appreciate. Externals are really nice because I don't have much percent-based mitigation. I can really just tank things with my face. Really struggling to get enough runic power for this. Kind of annoying. Alright. And we have grippy hands. We're going to drop a... no, D&D is available. We do have Dancing Rune Weapon though, and now we can drop a D&D because we have the rune necessary. AoE CC to prevent the Gale Slinger's little AoE thing. We're going to use Anti-Magic Shell so that we can tank this breath to the face. And we moved a little bit so that we can get out of the circle from the Earth Shaker so we don't get stunned. If you get stunned here, it's pretty bad. Okay. There's, of course, a bunch of Sanguine that I forgot about. I don't know, I'm just really bad about remembering Sanguine. The ADHD is really not helping me here. Alright, that's the Dragon dead. The Earth Shaker's dead. We're just gonna... There we go. There we go. Didn't even need to do any special movement for the Earth Shakers because they died so quickly. This Paladin's blasting the DPS. What's their item level? 517? That's impressive. Everyone seems to be ready. I'm going to taunt so I can retain aggro. We're going to move the boss close to this crystal. Hopefully nobody breaks it by standing behind it. Nobody is behind it, so the tornado should not be able to hit it when it goes out. Very nice. And we can reposition immediately. I'm going to wait until the cast starts so that she doesn't accidentally like move because of one of my micro movements. The reason we do this kind of positioning is because then we are able to keep DPSing the boss as a melee DPS while we have to hide. Now we need to move away a little bit and move back in because of the glacial surge, obviously. And then our next crystal is over there. I'm going to try and move her, but I don't think I'll be able to. I'm going to anti-magic shell so I can take the... Hopefully nobody gets hit by that explosion. Good. Trying to move her close to this crystal again. Very good. I think we might be able to keep DPSing through this. Yes, it looks like it. I'm just going to step away and be safe. I wasn't able to Death Strike her, unfortunately, but I guess it doesn't matter too much. There's a Glacial Surge we need to move out of. Okay. I'm going to drop this anti-magic zone for us. Just to reduce the overall rot damage that we're experiencing. Trying to, again, position this. Frost Cyclone goes out. Nobody should be able to get hit by that. This is a really good position for us because we will be able to DPS her during the hide thing. There's the hailstorm. I'm going to move. I can still keep DPSing with my abilities, so this is great. I guess I could have gotten greater value out of my anti-magic zone if I had used it at the start of the fight and then again later, and also if I had used it during the whatchamacallits, the part where we have to hide. Okay, there's the thingy thing. And we have another good spot to hide at. How good of a spot it is, I do not know, because this circle is really close to us. Luckily, it doesn't seem to matter, as we are going to survive. Glacial Surge, we got to move out of that and then move back in. I think she may just be dead before the next one. If not, we will move behind there, but it does look like she's going to die before she does anything else. There's the Frost Shock. Now she's going to do the Cyclone. Before even the Cyclone comes out, she is gone. Well healed by the Priest. 388k DPS, or HPS, which is very impressive. That is really cool, actually. Oh, it's an 11. Oh, I didn't even realize it's an 11. People are talking about it being an 11. I thought it was a 10 because I just... when I was queuing up, it said 10. People are blasting the DPS on these guys in the back. I don't really understand why, because they can tell that I'm pulling more, so I'm a little bit confused here. I'm going to use Icebound Fortitude immediately, otherwise I'm going to just get wrecked and die. That was a little bit annoying because I couldn't see what was going on because of the camera positioning, and also because I had to fight for aggro from people blasting the first 3 mobs instead of just waiting a little bit so they can DPS everything. But, you know, that's just... the usual, I guess. Or maybe it's just an issue of my own where I just do not generate enough aggro as I'm organizing the pull. I don't know. There's lots of Sanguine on the ground. This is my bad. We're standing in Sanguine. Or I guess the dragon is. I need to move over to this. Oh, man, this is such a shit show. I keep forgetting about Sanguine. The second I'm not fighting like the... whatever, man. I'm so bad. The previous episode's title was The Mage Keeps Freezing the Mobs in Sanguine or whatever. Now this episode's title is going to be I Keep Forgetting About Sanguine. It doesn't make a big difference. Sanguine so far hasn't been a huge issue for us as far as killing the mobs is concerned. It's just really embarrassing for me because I'm trying to commentate and like share some of my knowledge about the game. And then I like do stupid shit like stand in Sanguine with the mobs because I completely forget that it's Sanguine week. I'm going to AoE CC here because I see a lot of cast bars. We're going to kick the Ice Collar so he can't heal. And that should be it. Tidal Divergence is going through, but I think all of these mobs will just die before anything happens. I'm not going to pull the mini-boss until I'm done with these Ice Collars and Gale Singers because of the... Sanguine. I'm going to grip this, taunt the mini-boss because they got immediately blasted, of course. Inundate going off. in the middle of the Sanguine. I hate Sanguine. Flash flood going through. I'm going to be able to reposition the mini boss now. The one nice thing about these little rager mobs that keep coming out is they do not drop Sanguine, so you can at least relax from Sanguine here when it's just the mini boss at the end. In Fortified, this mini boss really is the final boss of the dungeon because the Inundate does just so much damage. As you can see, even on Tyrannical, it does so much damage that some people are close to death after one cast of the Inundate. So you just need a healer that can keep up with that kind of damage output from an enemy. Or you need a good rotation of defensives and externals for party members. It is possible to outrange it, I believe, but I don't know exactly how far you need to be. You cannot line of sight it, unfortunately, by using this center pillar thing, which you can use to hide from the big swirly wavy things. Right, I'm using this mob to lower the cooldown on my dancing rune weapon by getting punched in the face. I'm going to turn around just so I get hit. There we go. It lowers the number of stacks on my bone shield, which in turn lowers the cooldown on my dancing rune weapon. All right, let's do this, Leroy Jenkins. I'm gonna hold my grabby hands for the for the intermission, so I can group up all the mobs and we can get through it very quickly. Or quicker, I should say. I'm going to get knocked back here at an anti-magic shell. I'm going to taunt because the anti-magic shell is going to prevent that. I failed to cast my Death's Advance before I got knocked back, which is horrible. I'm going to be stuck in a really rough spot here. Hopefully the globules are going to be kind to me. They aren't. I'm just going to straight up die. Okay, healer did big heals on me, so I managed to survive. Intermission's coming through soon. I hate those globules. They're such a pain in the ass. Like, I wish people just stacked on me or something so I could, like, avoid them, but I can't. Do not kick the ads. And grabby hands. I can't type right now. I really want to say that I'm grabby hands. Be good. I do want to point out that I will grabby hands the mobs so that they don't infuse the boss too much. Okay, I'm going to grip this. Grabby hands, grip this. Will this get gripped? Yes, it will. AoE CC. My job here is to CC. I don't care about the DPS I do to these mobs. I just need to make sure I CC them, either by using Death Grip or by using some other form of AoE CC. I'm going to try and stand on top of other people. The evoker knows what's up. He tries to stand on top of me, so when the infused globules come, they all come to the same spot. I'm going to drop a D&D over here. Now I'm going to get Squall buffeted away, which I'm going to prevent by using Death's Advance. And now I'm just going to spam Death Strike. I'm going to spam... Okay, I've been CR'd. What the hell? Oh, the globules. Jesus Christ with the globules. I don't know how I went down there. I'm very confused. We don't have a CR available for this. What the hell happened there? I really don't know. Maybe the infusion is something I should have AMS'd either way. Very confused here. Squall buffet coming through. I got big... What the heck? What am I dying to? Is it just auto attacks? No, I got waterlogged by 1.3 million. The waterlogged from touching the boss is what killed me. I got gripped when I didn't expect to get gripped. The healer was trying to help me. We can still time it, but that was very confusing. And we also do have lust, that is true. I'm just very slow, so it's going to take me a while to reach the boss. But that was confusing. You probably saw it on my face. I was just flabbergasted after that having happened. It doesn't help that I'm a little bit lost in the sauce. Asking people to just stack for globules so that we can all move together, and that way avoid me having to run away from the orbs. Because if I run away from the orbs and step away from the boss, that way I can avoid the orbs, sure. But when I step away from the boss will turn around and punch someone in the face. All right, we do have enough time to time this still. 4 minutes, 40 seconds. Let's get cracking. We have all our cooldowns. Hopefully we don't bloodlust right off the bat. There's the druid buff we keep asking for. I, again, will not use grippy hands here. That is really intense damage for the healer to deal with. Please don't grip me like that. That's really not necessary. But do spam the living shit out of heals on me. Okay, our friend the Evoker went down. Then Fury coming through. We have a CR as well for that. Infused Globules going down yet again. I'm going to move over to the other side. Hopefully none of the globules go through the center of the boss and just surprise me. They like to be sneaky like that. I got knocked back. I'm going to taunt while I'm moving back because I used anti-magic shell to prevent the infused from hitting me. Oh my god, this... I failed to prevent the knockback because I'm looking for the orbs the entire time and I'm just terrified all the time from the orbs. Oh man, okay. Well, we gotta step this way to avoid these. I'm gonna stand here so I don't get hit by this. The Evoker will make these despawn before I have to deal with another one, I'm hoping. There we go. Trying to move quickly. I'm using my... Okay, well there's the Sleepwalk. That's a CC. And we're going to grip that. We're going to grip this. There's a knock-up from the Evoker. I can use AoE CC here in a little bit. Okay, it was used by somebody else. And we're ready for the boss. Healer is immediately moving to the side, which I don't like because the infusion, the little orbs are going to come down and then we're going to have an issue. People are now stacking. There's the infused globules. I'm going to move over to the other direction now so I can avoid it. Our Evoker went down again, but that's okay. Squall Buffet, I'm going to prevent the knockback and then I'm going to use anti-magic shell to prevent the focus deluge. We do have a Bloodlust rolling right now. The next one, he's going to grip. Okay. Trying to avoid the infused globules right now. Trying to stand on top of my friend the priest here because he's going to grip me back. New infused globules. I have to move again. Use my movement speed ability there just to get out of the globules. There's the Squall Buffet. I'm going to get gripped back or something. No, I'm not. What the heck am I doing here? Tombstone. Okay, I managed to survive that. That's all that matters. New infused globules. Got to move out of the way. There we go. And we timed it with 1.5 minutes to spare. That was really intense. I like zoomed in with my face by moving closer to the monitor. Okay, cool. And we got Circle of Ascended Frost. Very nice. With a socket. Holy shit. Paladin is very enthusiastic about the ring. I unfortunately can't give it to the Paladin because it's an upgrade for me. Oh, he's only here for that? Oh, I'm sorry to hear, bud. He seems very upset. He seems very upset about that. I have a Bracken High date, so I'm not going to reroll my key, although I could, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and just use my Hearthstone. That was an 11. I wasn't really hoping to do... well, I was really hoping to do an 11. I actually looked for 10s and 11s, but there was no plus 11. Like all of them said plus 10. I applied to this one, got invited, and it turned out to be an 11. So at the start when I said it was a 10, I lied by accident. I didn't know I was lying. Okay, so the other ring is high crit, low haste. What's my crit at? 5.4k, 5.1k. I would really like the verse, because I am actually low on verse and I'm trying to like spread out my stats a little bit because that's what's been working quite well for people from what I can tell. Although I guess in really high keys, people go for mastery, but I'm not really doing really high keys. I'm just doing 10s and 11s so far. I don't know. I've seen all sorts of suggestions about what kind of stats I should be running, and I don't know if I should really be adhering to any of that. I'm kind of just winging it, and it's been working. I think I want to keep the crit. The crit's been quite nice, so I don't think I will actually use this ring, although the socket's kind of sexy. Nah, we'll just use this ring to get a free upgrade, and by free I mean it won't cost any, it's Worm's Crests, which is nice because I'm desperate for Worm's Crests. I haven't been able to farm them as much as I'd like. We also have Aspect Crests available, which I'm going to use to upgrade with my Augury, and now we're getting close to 520 item level actually on this character. I'm quite happy about that. No, I didn't want to open photo mode. I wanted to open just the regular thing that's going to show me my detailed item level. So I need 2 more upgrades to get to 520 item level. I can probably do that by farming some Worm Crests. So I think that's what I'm going to do in like the upcoming streams, or maybe just on the side, because like I said, nobody really cares about doing 5s. I did some 5s with viewers, even though this is a pug only challenge, because 5s don't give me rating anymore, so I don't feel pressured to play pugs, and it's fun to play with with viewers. Speaking of which, if you want to join in on those viewer runs, or if you just want to hang out in the stream, I do stream every day that I put up a video. I also stream afterwards, and Sunday is also a stream where I play on NA when I do play on Saturday or Sunday, Jesus. So if you want to play with me but you're on NA, Sunday is your chance to do so. I play a Brewmaster that I'm still leveling, and I also have a Shadow Priest that I play on NA. Now we are at 2,688 rating. Quite happy with that. Still plenty of 8+8 keys that I need to get through this week. I'll probably do that mostly on the stream, where I will bump up all of these keys to a +10. But that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like. Let me know what you like about it in a comment down below. If you had fun, make sure you subscribe, because there's more episodes coming. And if you're feeling particularly generous, you can become a channel member. Channel members have guaranteed replies to their comments, and they get nice little shoutouts at the beginning of the episode. If you need more D&V content, you can always check out the stream or the VODs on Definitely Not VODs. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode. This is still awkward with the face cam. I still haven't made like a scene to transition to where there's no face cam. Really need to get on top of that. So, you come here often? I do. 3 times a week.